James K. Polk is often remembered as the president who led the military in the Mexican-American War, but his military ambitions extended further. This dispute over the Oregon Territory was known by the phrase 5440 or fight. The debate over the Oregon Territory began in the era of good feelings, with the Rush-Bagot Agreement of 1817. This treaty created the boundary between the United States and British Canada along the 49th parallel. However, this boundary only extended to the Rocky Mountains. The remaining area, known as the Oregon Territory, was regarded as a no man's land, and joint occupation agreements between the United States and Britain were created in 1818, which were renewed every 10 years. This joint occupation agreement effectively delayed the dispute over the Oregon Territory, and early inhabitants included Canadian fur traders, Austrians, and even Russians, who had created Fort Ross in California. The scarce population began to expand in the 1830s, after Protestant missionaries settled the area and a massive migration began. Thousands of families began the long, slow, and dangerous migration into the Oregon Territory. You might be asking, how exactly does Polk fit into all of this? Well, in 1844, the Democrats were searching for a candidate for the election. Polk entered the convention hoping to run as vice president with the presidential candidates that included Martin Van Buren, John C. Calhoun, and Cave Johnson. Yet, Polk was chosen unanimously by the convention to run for president, with George M. Dallas as his vice president. Yes, that Dallas. While campaigning against, who would have guessed, Henry Clay, both candidates addressed the annexation of Texas. However, Polk also campaigned for the control of the Oregon Territory. Polk believed that the United States had the right to control the entire Oregon Territory, which stretched between the 42nd parallel and the 5440 parallel. Polk's campaign for the entire Oregon Territory was marketed by the phrase 5440 or fight, which stated that if the treaties for the United States' control of the entire Oregon Territory were not created, then he would declare war against the British. This campaign gained Polk the support of Northern expansion activists, who feared that an abundance of Southern territory would further imbalance the Free State representation in Congress. During Election Day, Polk gained 62% of the electoral votes, and Henry Clay, once again, was defeated. Polk's administration now faced several problems. Early in 1855, the annexation of Texas was approved, and conflict with Mexico over Texas's boundaries was almost certain. Slogan 5440 or fight clearly advocated war with the British, yet Polk understood that having simultaneous territorial conflict would possibly result in defeat. However, the United States population in the Oregon Territory outnumbered the British population by a factor of 6 to 1. Although the British supported yet another war with the United States, they proposed negotiations for a boundary with the Oregon Territory in 1846. Polk, who was secretly supporting compromise, agreed, and the boundary along the 49th parallel, with one small exception, was created. This is the current boundary between the United States and Canada. Overall, Polk won the election with the slogan 5440 or fight. However, the United States didn't get the Oregon Territory, and they didn't go to war with the British over it. Instead, this is important because it allowed further expansion of the United States. And if the British accepted Polk's offer for war, the outcome would probably not have been as successful for the United States. Through the negotiations of Polk, the American dream of manifest destiny was executed, and after the Mexican-American War, Polk had contributed to 3 expansions of the United States territory. Now go ahead and drink some Starbucks or something.